Welcome, listener, in the shadows. We bring stories into the light. Join me as we explore the encounters no one speaks of and the things that watch from the dark. Before we dive into tonight's terrifying tale, a quick question. Do you dare wear the fear? Our exclusive Shadows merch is here. Hoodies, tees, and more, designed for those who embrace the darkness. Get yours before they vanish forever. Link below. The Thing in the Salt Lick. Entry begins October 13th, 7:46 p.m. They always say silence is peaceful, but they've never driven through Boone County in October when the leaves have turned to fire and bone, and the backroads twist like veins through a land that hasn't seen progress since the 1950s. I left Lexington just after 5. Sun dipping low behind me, bourbon-colored sky bleeding over the horizon. By the time I crossed the county line, I was the only car on the road. No signs of life, not even the sad kind. Gas stations with flickering neon, chain-linked porches sagging under the weight of beer cans and rust. Just trees and fog, that eerie kind of mountain fog that clings to the road in long, wet fingers, curling around tires and headlights like it's trying to hold you back. I hadn't been to Warren's place in nearly 4 years, not since Aunt Margie's funeral. They were the kind of couple who never needed anyone else. No kids, no family visits, just the two of them and their horses, their land, and a quiet little routine carved into the dirt like ritual. When she passed, Warren didn't come to the city, didn't ask for help, just buried her out behind the barn, beneath a maple tree where she used to hang laundry in the spring. It was her favorite spot, he said. Now her name was carved into a flat stone, and the grass around it grew taller than anywhere else on the property. He let the land reclaim it. People in town started calling him the Grey Man. They said he stopped showing up to the feed store, didn't attend church, didn't talk much, even when he did. Just came in, bought salt blocks and cheap jerky, then left. Always salt blocks, every few weeks. A new one. When he called me last week, I didn't recognize his voice at first. It was too dry, like he hadn't spoken aloud in days or weeks. There's something in the field, he said. It comes every night, around 3, right by the salt lick. I asked if it was coyotes, maybe a bear. He went quiet for a long time before finally replying. It's standing wrong. It don't blink, don't eat, it just watches. That's what got me, not the fear in his voice, not even the mention of something unnatural. It was the word he used. Watches, not looks, not stares. Watches, like it was learning him. That's not the kind of thing you ignore. Entry, October 14th, 11:52 p.m. The first thing I noticed when I pulled into Warren's gravel driveway was that the house didn't have a single light on. Not even a porch bulb. Just the faint glimmer of a lantern flickering behind the curtain in the living room window. The fields were overgrown, grass up to my knees. An old salt lick block sat halfway buried about 50 yards out, surrounded by deer tracks and what looked like claw marks on the dirt. Deep gouges, not the kind made by hooves. Closer to fingers, long ones. The barn was collapsing, one side sunk into the mud. Its roof sagged like a broken rib cage. Warren opened the door before I could knock. He looked smaller, paler, as if some part of him had shrunk inward, like he was slowly folding into himself. His shirt was stained under the armpits and collar, but tucked in neatly, like he was still trying to hold onto routine, some fragment of dignity. He didn't smile, just nodded and stepped aside. Lock the door behind you. Inside, the place was cold. He'd stopped running the heat, said it was safer that way. The power was still on, but most of the light bulbs were unscrewed or broken. His curtains were shut tight, windows taped around the edges. The only glow came from a half-dead kerosene lamp on the coffee table and the pale light of a cracked laptop screen sitting beside it. It was connected to a black box of tangled wires and a tiny monitor, the feed from 5 trail cameras, all focused on the field. Sit down. I'll show you what I mean. I watched him shuffle into the kitchen to make coffee, hands shaking so badly he spilled grounds all over the counter. There was a shotgun propped against the fridge and a hatchet on the table, edge still red with something that hadn't dried right. When he came back, he set a mug in front of me. Black coffee. No sugar, no cream. Just bitter and hot like the kind you drink to stay awake. Started about 2 weeks ago, he said. Same deer, every night. Stands by the salt, don't eat, don't blink. He clicked into the folder marked Trail Cam 1. Dates going back 14 nights. Trail Cam October 1st, 3:17 am. Normal for the first 90 seconds. 2 whitetails approach the salt lick from the tree line. You can tell they're young, thin legs, twitchy movements. One pauses, ears flicking back. The other lowers its head to the salt. Wind is visible through the branches. Fog rolls in low, soft and pale like spilled milk pooling along the roots. Nothing unnatural yet. Then, without warning, the deer freeze. No twitch, no shift. They just stop. Not like startled prey, this is different. Like they're listening to something the camera can't hear. 30 full seconds pass. Then, slowly, they both look toward the far edge of the frame, not toward a sound, toward something watching. And then they bolt, full speed, tails flashing white like panicked flags. 12 seconds later, something steps into view. It looks like a buck, tall, lean, bone pale under the infrared. But the way it walks is too balanced. Its body doesn't sway like a quadruped. Each hoof falls with surgical precision. It lowers its head toward the salt but never bends its legs. Its neck lengthens like a rubber hose, not jerky, flowing, controlled. Before it reaches the block, it stops. Then its head turns, slowly, steadily, until it's facing the camera with its body still aimed forward, like an owl or a doll on a rotating stick. Its eyes are too reflective, not glowing, reflecting like they're made of glass. The footage ends. Trailcam October 2nd, 2:58 am, completely normal. 3 raccoons wrestle in front of the salt lick. One knocks over a small trail flag I hadn't noticed before. The infrared picks up their body heat as flickers of white and grey. Background wind, a distant owl, nothing unusual. The silence after feels louder because of it. Trailcam October 3rd, 3:12 am, rabbit hops into frame, sniffs the salt block. Then its ears twitch sharply and it flattens. You expect it to run. It doesn't. Instead, it slowly tilts its head, like a person realizing they're being watched. It holds this pose for 13 seconds, ears rigid, breath barely visible. Then something happens in the far right corner. Not a shape, not movement, but a distortion, like static that warps part of the tree line. The rabbit darts, but its exit is delayed. 3 frames skip ahead, and when the image recovers, the rabbit is gone. There's no break in the timecode. Trailcam October 4th, 3:17 am. The deer returns. Same one as the first night. The one that isn't a deer. It's closer now, maybe 15 feet from the camera. Its fur doesn't ripple in the breeze. Its ears don't flick. Its nostrils don't move. It's like someone skinned a deer and slipped inside, but never figured out how the face works. It stares at the salt lick, then raises one leg and rests it on the block. Its knee bends backward. No animal moves like that. No mammal. Not on land. Then, in the last 5 seconds of the clip, you see its ribs expand once. A slow, deep inhale that lifts its chest like a bellows. It holds the breath. The clip ends before it exhales. Trailcam October 5th, 3:03 am. Nothing happens. Wind moves through the field. Branches sway. A coyote slinks past the lick, uninterested. Camera glitches slightly for 2 seconds. Typical interference. No signs of the deer thing. I let myself hope it left. Trailcam October 6th, 3:15 am. Snowfall. Very light. Odd for early October, but not impossible up here. For nearly 5 minutes, nothing enters the frame. Then, almost imperceptibly, a shape begins to emerge from the brush. Not walking, rising. As if something buried beneath the roots has begun to stand. At first, all you see is a head. Antlers, the silhouette of a deer. Then, the front legs together. Not stepping, just lifting up at the same time. Its front limbs don't land. They dangle like dead arms. It takes one step forward on hind legs, then stops, and smiles, not with teeth, not with muscle. The eyes smile. Like someone inside the suit has finally figured out what a friendly look should be. It stands in the field until sunrise. The light washes out its form. Trailcam October 7th, 3:17 am. A fox approaches the salt lick, stops, sniffs, cautious. Then another fox walks into frame from the left. Same markings, same limp in the rear leg, same scar over the eye. There is only one fox. They see each other and freeze. Neither attacks. Neither flees. They stare for nearly 45 seconds. Then, in sync, they both lift their heads toward the camera. Same angle, same moment. The copy blinks first, but not sideways like a fox. It blinks vertically, like a reptile, or a camera shutter. The real fox bolts. The other one remains. Then, impossibly, it smiles. Same expression as the deer. What he then began to explain before showing me truly rattled me to the core. He had the laptop in one hand, trail cam footage paused on a frame of the thing pointing directly into the lens. The timestamp read October 9th, 3:17 a.m. He shoved it toward me without speaking, his finger jabbing the touchpad. "This ain't a goddamn animal," he said finally. "I don't know what it is, but it's not natural." His voice was trembling, not with fear, but with something worse. Restrained understanding. The kind that creeps in when your instincts recognize something your brain refuses to name. "It's copying them," he muttered. "Like it's practicing, like it wants to learn how to walk right, eat right, smile right. And when it gets it wrong, it tries again the next night." I didn't know what to say. The thing on the screen was frozen mid-frame, neck hyperextended, eyes glinting in a way that no deers ever should. Warren scrubbed through the final seconds, stopping on the oil-like stain the thing left behind. "I'm bringing the guns inside," he said, "and we don't check that cam again, not unless you want it to start waving." He walked out without another word. The house felt different after that, heavier, like something knew it was being watched and wanted to return the favor. Trailcam October 9th, 3:17 a.m. Marked. Warren shot it. The deer thing stands right in front of the camera, upright, arms limp. Its face is closer to human now, cheeks sunken, jaw too narrow. A second set of limbs unfolds from beneath the fur, slender, pinkish, raw-looking. They twitch like it hasn't quite figured out what muscles to use. It raises one of these arms and points at the camera. Then the mouth stretches open, not to scream, not to eat, just wide. And it tilts its head all the way back until the neck splits in a sharp, wet crack. Then, a gunshot. The screen shakes. The creature doesn't flinch. It just folds backward, slowly collapsing into itself. Its arms retract like jelly sucked into a straw. By the end of the clip, all that remains is a stain in the grass, not blood. Something darker, moory like oil. We stopped watching and began to discuss what to do. Night 3 at his house, October 15 night entry time, 3 o'clock am event. House perimeter breach attempt. The wind tonight is dead. No rustle, no sway, not even the usual creak from the pine out back. The forest feels vacuum sealed. The kind of silence you get inside deep caves or thick snowbanks, something that eats sound instead of echoing it. I stayed up past midnight, watching the security monitors. Warren's footsteps echoed in the upstairs hallway. He was doing the same. Neither of us spoke. The living room light was off, but the faint blue flicker from the screen lit the room like a fish tank. Cold, dreamlike. At 3:14 am, motion pinged on cam 4, the west side of the house near the old root cellar. The feed came up grainy but clear, and I saw it, just at the edge of the tree line, not moving, just standing. A tall silhouette. Wrong, slightly bowed in the middle, legs too long, shoulders too narrow. It was trying to mimic a person again, had ditched the deer form completely. Now it stood upright, limbs swaying slightly like it was trying to understand how a human rests. The thing took one step, then stopped. Its head tilted too far, 90 degrees to the side. Then came the sound, not from the feed, from outside, like something scraping a metal rake down the siding. Warren appeared behind me. Didn't say a word, just leveled the shotgun at the window and flicked off the safety. I muted the feed and listened. Nothing, no footsteps, no breathing. Just that same awful absence of natural night sounds. Even the bugs had gone still. Then, from the back wall, 3 deliberate knocks. Not banging, knocking, like a visitor. We both spun, hearts jackamering, weapons up. The sound had come from the kitchen wall, the same wall with no porch, no deck, nothing a person could stand on. But something had knocked, 3 times, measured, patient. I pulled the kitchen curtain, nothing there, not even footprints in the frost. But when I looked down, I saw it. a spiral of small stones perfectly arranged on the windowsill, identical to the one left at the salt lick. We didn't sleep. We didn't speak for a while either. Just sat at the kitchen table, all the lights on, guns between us, eyes on the woods. At one point, the hallway light flickered, just once. When it came back on, the spiral was gone. No sound, no movement, no sign of entry, just gone. Warren finally broke the silence around dawn. Said he knew someone out east, lives off-grid, used to study folklore mixed with animal behavior. Told me this feels like something older than words, older than language, a shape wearing stories. We agreed to review the security footage again later tonight. He said we should try and see if the thing mimics us next. I laughed, not because it was funny, because I think he's right. October 16, Warren's call entry logged 6:47 p.m. Warren made the call tonight. Not on his cell. He unearthed an old sat phone from a dented metal lockbox he keeps in the attic, wrapped in oilcloth and tucked beside a bolt-action rifle I've never seen him use. I asked who he was calling. He just muttered, "The only guy I trust to answer." The phone whined to life with a high-pitched squeal that reminded me of old dial-up modems. Took almost a full minute to find a signal. The whole time Warren stood there like a statue, thumb hovering over the dial key, muttering something under his breath like a prayer. He hit send. The line rang twice, and then someone picked up. Whoever answered didn't speak at first. Warren just listened for a long time, nodding slowly like he was hearing something rehearsed, something expected. When he finally spoke, it was barely above a whisper. It's not mimicking deer anymore. It left a spiral. Yeah, it's seen our faces. He stepped outside then, pacing in tight loops on the porch, the satellite handset pressed to his ear like it was burning him. I couldn't hear the man on the other end, but I saw Warren stop pacing cold. Whatever was said next made him turn and look straight into the woods, like he expected something to be standing there. When he came back in, he looked drained, like something important had been taken out of him and not returned. He poured himself a drink with shaking hands, sat down hard in the wooden kitchen chair across from me and didn't speak for a long while. Then finally, that was Elias North, lives in Maine now, hermit. Used to be a wildlife biologist before he quit. Got into deep folklore, real backwoods stuff, oral histories from tribes that don't even write their language down. He stared into the bottom of his glass. I met him on a field job about 10 years ago, out in the Aroostook backcountry, tracking wolf migration. Found some carcasses that didn't make sense. Bones cracked clean like green twigs, no sign of predators. Just gone. Elias had answers when no one else did. I asked what Elias said this time. Warren's jaw clenched, like the words had to be forced out. He said we've got a learning mimic, one of the old things. Doesn't just echo shape, it adopts behavior, tries on people like clothes, watches, rehearses. It'll screw it up at first, wrong voice, wrong limbs, but it learns. And once it's confident, he didn't finish the sentence, just pushed the shot glass away and looked at me with a dead certainty in his eyes. He said they don't kill like animals, they replace, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but once they get it right, the real one's just in the way. I didn't ask more, because honestly I didn't want to know what getting it right looks like. October 17, inside footage review, Cam 2, hallway monitor, logged at 3:21 am. I checked the indoor camera feeds like always. Nothing strange at first. Cam 1 showed the living room, quiet, dimly lit, clock ticking like a metronome for a funeral. Cam 3 faced the kitchen, clean, lifeless, the spiral gone from the sill. Then I switched to Cam 2, which monitors the narrow hallway outside the bedrooms. There it was, standing at the far end, motionless, head cocked. It wore my flannel, the green one I'd left on a hook 3 days ago. Same build, same posture, but not me. The skin was wrong, too smooth, like wax molded over a mannequin frame. The hands dangled at the sides, fingers slightly curved inwards like talons trying to learn softness. The worst part, the camera didn't detect any motion. Whatever it was didn't walk there. It was just there already. I rewound the feed. At 3:17 am, the hallway was empty. At 3:18 am, it was not. No transition, no entry. Frame to frame, it had simply inserted itself into the moment. Like reality blinked, and when it opened its eyes again, the wrong thing had slipped in. It didn't move, didn't breathe, it just watched. And even though it was facing away from the camera, I swear to God, it was watching me. Not the hallway, not the door, me. Warren and I searched the house from top to bottom with loaded rifles, every closet, under every bed, even the crawl space. Nothing, no footprints, no heat signature, no signs of forced entry. But when I opened the hall closet, just across from where it stood, I found something I hadn't noticed before, a handful of small, smooth stones, arranged in a spiral, tucked inside one of my old boots. We don't know what it wants. We don't know who it's trying to become. But last night, Warren looked me dead in the eyes and said, "If I ever start smiling and you don't know why, shoot me first." October 18, ECHOES entry logged 11:39 p.m. The house feels wrong in the mornings now. Too still, like it's holding its breath, waiting for us to leave so it can rearrange itself. This morning I found the coffee pot already brewed and hot, even though neither of us had come downstairs yet. Mug already set out on the counter. My mug. Warren swore he didn't do it. I believe him. 12:43 p.m. Warren took a nap on the couch. I went upstairs to journal, just wanted a quiet hour without the weight of everything. I was halfway through a sentence when I heard his voice. "Hey," soft, muffled, from downstairs. I assumed he'd woken up. I walked to the landing and called back. "What is it?" No answer. Just the sound of the fire crackling. When I came down, Warren was still asleep, dead to the world. Hadn't moved an inch. The hallway light was off, even though I'd just seen it on. 2:11 p.m. Warren finally told me the real reason he called Elias. He said Elias had tracked a learning mimic once before. Not out in the woods, in a nursing home. Small town in northern Maine, near the border. Residents started reporting strange behavior. Staff acting off, forgetting names, mixing up rooms. One woman swore she saw herself standing in the mirror, but not doing the same things she was doing. By the time Elias got involved, 5 people were missing. The thing that haunts him, one of the missing was never reported. There was no family, no documentation, and the staff couldn't agree on whether she'd ever really worked there. Footage review 3:03 am, audio only. Recorder picked up ambient feed from hallway and den. I couldn't sleep. Sat up watching the fire burn low, letting the static from the radio fill the room. That quiet fuzz has become a kind of comfort, like white noise smoothing out the jagged corners of our lives. Then it cut out, mid-hiss like a breath getting caught in a throat. And I heard it, my own voice, coming from the hallway vent. Not loud, not clear, but it was me, laughing softly. Then the sound of breathing, shallow, controlled. Then Warren's voice, "You okay in there?" But Warren was upstairs. I could hear him coughing through the floorboards. I didn't move. I just stared at the vent until the fire died and the room got cold enough to hurt. 5:12 am. I found my journal. The one I keep locked in my footlocker. Pages all there. Nothing missing. But the last entry, the one I hadn't written yet, was dated October 19. It read, "Warren's not himself anymore. I don't think he ever was. Tomorrow, I'll finally do it." I haven't shown him yet, because I don't know which Warren I'd be showing it to. October 19 ending. Entry logged 10:31 p.m. I thought about it all day, whether to leave, whether to stay, whether I was the one who had already gone wrong. What if all of this is my own mind breaking? What if I'm the one who's been replaced? What if this isn't even my handwriting anymore? Warren's gone. The house feels even quieter than it did before. The woods have stopped making their usual sounds at night. The wind doesn't scratch at the window pins anymore. I've been sitting here, staring at the fire, the flames so close I can feel the heat. It's strange, isn't it? How something so simple, something as harmless as fire, can become a point of fixation when everything else around you is off. There are still whispers in the house, soft, like static through the radio. Sometimes it feels like my own voice answering, like someone else's mouth moving when I'm not in control. But when I turn to look, there's nothing there, just the shadows stretching too long across the walls. I went outside this evening. I don't know why, just needed to breathe. When I came back inside, there was a note on the kitchen counter. A scrap of paper, folded so neatly it couldn't have been the wind. It read, You should have left while you had the chance. I checked the footage. The cameras have been off for hours, but the timestamp on the last log is from an hour ago. The only image is a blur, like static on a TV screen, and then the unmistakable sound of footsteps on the porch, too loud and too close. I haven't gone back out there. I don't think I will. The door's locked, but something tells me it doesn't matter. November 3, the last log entry logged 1:52 am have been waiting, watching. I was hoping someone would come, that the silence would be broken, that somehow it would be over. But it's not. Warren's gone. I don't know when. He wasn't there when I woke up on October 20th. Not a sound, not a trace, like he'd never even been here. His things were gone, his boots, his jacket. The old rifle he kept on the wall, the one that had seen better days, was gone too. The air feels different in the house now. Thicker. I think it's watching me. I don't feel alone. Not anymore. I checked the footage again from the last couple of nights. The cameras had been on, even though I swear I turned them off. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was wrong. But there's a gap. October 19, 6:01 am to 12:23 p.m. Completely missing. The last clip before the gap shows me standing in the hallway, staring at the door. I don't remember doing that. I don't remember standing still in the dark, staring at the door. But it's me, and I look lost, empty. The next clip is from 12:23 p.m. It's static, only for a moment. Then the image clears. There's someone in the hallway, standing perfectly still. Not Warren. I can't see his face clearly, but the figure is dressed in my clothes, wearing my jacket, waiting for me to move, waiting for me to blink. I thought I heard something on the porch earlier tonight, but when I went to check, there was no one. Just the cold, wet earth. There's no more footage after 12:23 p.m. It's almost like nothing happened. Like I just stopped. Like time froze or I froze. I don't know. But then I saw the note again, the one from October 19th, the one that was on the kitchen counter. I hadn't thrown it away. I didn't even touch it. But there it was, folded neatly next to my journal. Only this time the handwriting is different, slanted, sharp, erratic. You made it back for now. But the things in the dark never truly leave, do they? They watch, they wait, and perhaps they remember you now too. If you want to hear more, if you dare to listen again, step back into the shadows. Like the video. Subscribe, but know this, some doors once opened do not close so easily.